A pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true.
Hello everybody and welcome to my first vlog for the amazing readathon. This is a competitive team-based readathon that is put on by Bree over at Four Paws in a Book. I will link the announcement video down below. Feel free to join, and if you want to, you can join Team Pandora, which is my team along with Mel from Eleanor Reads. We have a great time when we end up co-hosting a team together, and so I know that June is going to be full of fun, competition, and some really good books. So we are starting the amazing readathon with the prompt, a booktuber recommends. So I am going to be picking up Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter, and this is really what I need to be reading right now because my Patreon book club discussion for this is on Sunday. So this is a little bit of a chunker, but the thing is we have a buddy read section in Discord, and it is full of spoiler tags right now, and nothing is more motivating to me than wanting to know what other people have been saying while they're reading the book. So I'm very excited to get to this. However, I cannot start reading this until tonight because I'm also an actor. Please don't take that too seriously. It's community theater, but community theater is just as important as any other theater. I am in a production called Five Women Wearing the Same Dress, and tonight we have to be off book for Act 1. And so I'm going to spend my afternoon and the next couple of hours making sure I have my lines memorized. And if I do, I'm going to go ahead and get a head start on memorizing Act 2, because the sooner I am off book, the sooner my days are more freed up so that I can spend my days reading instead of studying. So I'm going to be using my tactics. I have flashcards that I have made on the computer, and then I also have an app where I record my cue line and I record my line, and you can listen to it with gaps. So it'll say your cue line, it gives you time to fill in what your line is, and then it will say the line that you're supposed to say so that you can check yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. Eventually you can take that check off and just go through and say your lines. But it's really important to me to do a word for word job on this, so I'm gonna be doing my best to study, and that's what I'm gonna be doing on kickoff sprints today. Let's pop open our caffeine. I did have some B-roll. So I made some really good eggs this morning. Those mushrooms were from the farmer's market, and oh my gosh, I love mushrooms in my eggs. Those were some of the best mushrooms I've ever had. And then I went to the theater this morning to help with set building. I am not much use because in October I was having a lot of issues with my back, so I'm just really careful about lifting. So I was not much help with the lifting stuff, but I was able to mark up a whole bunch of the 2x4s, I don't know, whatever size wood things that we got from Home Depot. I was able to mark where they needed to be cut and cut a few on the saw. People let me touch a saw. And I also pulled all of the staples out of the ends of the boards. So was I the most helpful person there? No. Did all those things need to get done and I was able to help? Yes. So if you need things cut on a saw, I'm your girl. All right, let's get to studying, go to rehearsal, and then I will talk to you once I've started my book tonight. Well, we got our costumes. I am home from rehearsal, freshly showered. I made myself what I call a homemade KFC gravy bowl, except I don't like gravy. It's got some mashed potatoes and some corn and then some chicken strips. I got these from a school fundraiser, but they're spicy chicken strips. They are delicious. I had a really big breakfast and then didn't have lunch, and so I'm really hungry right now. I'm gonna eat that and then finally settle in for some reading tonight. My expectations are mid for this book. I feel like I haven't heard anybody not like it, and then I've heard really good things and then really mid things. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping for a 5-star, but if I fall somewhere in between mid and loving it, I will be excited. Rehearsal tonight was good, but also one of my castmates is stuck in another city with car trouble, so she wasn't here tonight. Another castmate wasn't here, and I'm not sure why, and there's only 5 of us. So when you're missing 2 people, it feels like you're missing a lot. So what we did instead of run the show with our blocking was we sat in a circle. 2 other people filled in for the other actors, and we ran the show off book, which means you can't look at your script. And I really do think that's what I needed. It is amazing how many words can live in your head when you are under pressure to get it right. And then the other exciting thing about rehearsal is we started costume try-ons. So for the majority of the show, I am in this ridiculous bubblegum pink dress. They're supposed to be 90s bridesmaids dresses, and they're supposed to be cute, but like we think they're really ugly. And there's also these little things that we wear on our heads. I get to take mine off pretty early, so I'm not really worried about the little hair fascinator. But I don't know, I felt like a princess, even though the dress is kind of ugly on purpose. Anyway, I love, like, growing up, costumes were what got me excited about wanting to do ballet and wanting to do theater, and here I am in my 30s and costumes still get me so excited. So the majority of the show I will be in that pink dress. There is part of the show where I get to take the dress off on stage and I'm wearing boxers and like a 90s band tee, which I haven't seen those costume elements yet, but I definitely get the best costume situation because everybody else has to wear the pink dresses the whole show, and I get to change into something comfortable for the middle, which is where I have my really, really dramatic stuff happen. Anyway, I could talk about theater for forever, but we are here to read, and I am really excited to start reading since I haven't gotten to do it all day today. I am afraid that we have reached the point on June the 2nd where it's really hot. It's about to thunderstorm outside and it is still really hot. My air conditioner is struggling to keep up. I always have it set at 69 degrees and it is bumped up to 75 right now and I feel sticky. I was gonna walk to rehearsal in just a second, but it looks like it's about to storm any second. So it is near the end of the day on Tuesday, and let's talk about what I've been up to because I feel like I've had a rather productive day. So I woke up relatively early and Vanessa was sprinting for forever for amazing readathon sprints this morning. Nobody wants to see me early in the morning in the summertime, so I did not join sprints, but I was just like participating as a participant. That's what participate means. And I got a really decent chunk of Bloodbound read. So y'all can see, I think I'm like 23% into the book. I'm on page 130, chapter 16, and I can talk about this book now because I think I had some things wrong. So we're following two POVs. Zelda is not one of the POVs. She wishes she was. She would love a whole book about her. But in one POV, we are following Astrid, and Astrid is the witch princess. And there is this covenant, this treaty basically between two kingdoms, the witches and then like the dragon riding kingdom, but only the royalty get dragons, that the heirs have to fight to the death to inherit something called the heart. And the heart is kind of the magic fuel for what sources their kingdom. And I think there's more to it than that, but that's like the very basics. So Astrid is this witch princess. She has been trained her whole life to do this. Witches all have familiars. They're all different animals, and I'm really loving the different personalities of the animals and like their thoughts manifest into dialogue between our characters. And it's not just like this mind connection between the witch and her familiar, like they can all hear each other. So I really like that aspect. I don't want to spoil anything, but the reveal that we got was pretty cool for Astrid. I'm really liking the personality of what I'm talking about. And if you know, then you know. And if you don't know, read the book and you'll figure it out. Then we also have Skylar, and Skylar is a part of this traveling minstrel troupe. They do like theater, they do like attractions like knife throwing and tightrope walking. And they are currently in the city where the duel is going to be held to kind of help amp up excitement for this duel between the witch and the prince. But it turns out that Astrid has some secrets and they get revealed pretty fast. So everybody is just getting real hyped for this duel. Astrid's like, I'm gonna die because the prince has a dragon and I don't. And Skylar is there learning things about herself. So all of it so far is really, really good. It reads really fast for as chunky of a book as it is, and I'm looking forward to getting home tonight and reading some more. So I did that probably for about 3.5 hours, and then when I got to rehearsal last night, I was like, so when are we going to be off book for Act 2? And he goes, tomorrow. And I went, oh. I said, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not ready for that. And so he said we could be off book on Thursday. But I did spend a good portion of today memorizing the first half of Act 2. There's something in my mouth. The second half of Act 2 is where all of my like very big emotional monologue beats are, and it's not that they're going to be hard to memorize, but they're going to be hard to memorize with intention, like getting the emotional meaning across because of what my character has been through and what she's finally revealing to the other women. So that's going to be the challenge of tomorrow. But I have tomorrow and Thursday to learn that because I don't have rehearsal on Wednesdays. Anyway, that's what I've been up to today. Not much. This is my hat I got from L'Oreal. I don't know what my secret is, but apparently I have one. It took them 3 boxes to remember to send my hat, but it did finally get here. My poor little Dungeon Crawler Carl shirt has not held up that well. It's kind of pilling everywhere, and I did crop it today because when your shirts aren't holding up well, crop them, I guess. All right, I'm gonna go to rehearsal, be a baddie for a little bit. I'm not a baddie, my character's a baddie. Come home, read some more Bloodbound, and I might watch the first episode of Off Campus. I did not like the book, but I'm down for a good summer binge TV show. Good morning, except I really mean afternoon because it's like 11 a.m. And I have been up for a while, but I have just been scrolling on my phone. This is the look we're gonna be rocking until I have to get ready tonight. So you're just gonna have to bear with my like bedhead bun, I don't know. But last weekend I went to a farmer's market and I got some really pretty zucchini. So we're about to saute some of this to have with some more chicken strips. But I mean, okay, so we have a regular zucchini. Look at this guy. He's so pretty. So I'm about to cook those up with some garlic and an onion and have a nice little veggie dish. The miracle of putting in just a little bit of effort, right? I don't know if y'all can see. That is my, I've never been pregnant, but I have back issues pregnancy pillow. And I've just been snuggled up in that pillow all day long reading Bloodbound. This is day 3 of the current leg we are on, and I do fear I am only 202 pages in. And it's not that I'm not having a good time, but it is that I am finding myself a little bit bored and a little bit distracted during certain moments of this book. And it has all of the elements that should mean that I love it. I love animal companions, I love friendship, I love rivalries, I love a little bit of romance, but I feel like some of the things aren't balanced for both the plot and for the age range. Like if this is adult fantasy, the way who I think are the love interests, because nothing has really happened yet, but I think I know who the love interest for each perspective is. Their interactions are reading a little bit childish, a little bit YA, but then like you have some super gory, and I mean gory scenes of things happening to others. So it just doesn't feel like some things are accurately weighted for what the story is. Also, we're 200 pages in. There's like this whole thing with needing to go to the Dragon Island that hasn't happened yet. They're gearing up for this fight. And there's some things where like time is passing linearly on page, like it's yesterday and now it's today. But then I just read a passage that was like, okay, it's been 2 weeks. The fight is in 6 weeks. So we are missing a whole chunk of time right there. And it probably sounds like I'm not liking it. The stuff that I'm liking, I'm really liking. I'm really liking the animal companions in whatever form they appear. I'm really liking we're getting close, but we can't get along because we're sworn to fight each other aspect of the book. Like that's really, really intriguing to me. I do have this feeling that things are going to pick up the second half of the book. And the only reason I know that is people didn't start talking about this in Discord in the little channel I have for it until about the halfway point. Actually, a little bit further than the halfway point. That was when people started using spoiler tags on things. So I'm gonna keep reading it. I just fear that it is putting me a little bit behind as far as amazing readathon goes. Also, didn't realize it was gonna have LGBTQ plus rep, which is a bonus prompt since we are reading this in the month of June and it is Pride Month. But one of our characters does mention that she has had past relationships with women. So bisexuality seems to be a thing for her. So that is something I will be able to submit for the bonus prompt. It is focusing on Zelda because she is the light of my life. She is the focus of my life. Oh my gosh, I love her so much. You know how everybody thinks you're cute? Do you know that? You're eating up this attention, aren't you? Anyway, that is book update. Let's do some other updates. Let's do a TV update. I don't watch much TV during my teaching year because I just like, I am mentally exhausted when I get home, and it's either I could zone out and watch TV, which does sound like a great stress reliever sometimes, or I could read, and most of the time I just gravitate towards reading. It's what I want to be doing. So when summer rolls around and I find myself with time, I watch TV. So I have started 2 shows and finished a show, which ended up being in a scrapped vlog. So let me talk about that. I know I need to watch Traitors, but my favorite show that is kind of in that same realm is Million Dollar Secret on Netflix. I love this show, and every time I watch it, it's only 2 seasons, but every time I see an episode, I convince myself that I need to send in an audition tape, I need to get selected, and that I could win it. I could win the whole thing. I just know that I could. I feel the same way about The Circle. I have this feeling that I'd be really good at it, and that is probably so far from the truth. I would probably get sent home on the first day, but I would play the game so hard. So basically, there's like one person and they receive the $1 million, but they can't tell anybody else that they're the millionaire, and they're given like secret tasks that they have to do to keep the money and like stay in the game and cancel out votes against them, whereas everybody else is trying to suss out who is acting weird and who has the $1 million. And the $1 million does kind of move around throughout gameplay, but I love this show. So I watched that last week, like binged it. I moved my reading chair to be this far away from the TV so I could just be locked in. And that is what I spent the last week of Escape the Readathon doing, if I'm being totally honest. So I did start watching Off Campus last night. I have read The Deal. I did not love it. I gave it 2.5 stars. But after seeing all the buzz everywhere about the off-campus show, I did decide I was going to watch it. And so when I got home from rehearsal last night, I watched the first episode and I was kicking my feet. The changes that they have made worked for me. Reading a college romance does not work for me. I am so far removed from the age mindset of college, and even then, like, guys, I grew up pretty sheltered. I went to a Baptist college, so like that college experience is so different than my college experience. And not that we all read to self-insert, because that wouldn't make sense for everything I read, but I do tend to self-insert into main female characters in both literary fiction and romance novels. And that's like accidental, but I like to find something I can relate to, because those are the books that dive the most into like our inner personalities. I think it's the books that lend themselves to really getting to know a character because they live and exist in the world that we do. And because empathy is a thing, we can share their feelings and we can kind of be like, I've experienced something like that. I get why this character feels that way. That happens in romance and that happens with literary fiction for me. And so I just could not self-insert into The Deal. But the show, I'm really, really liking it, as well as like the production quality of it. Like, the show looks good. I want Allie's hair. I mean, I have thick hair. She has thick hair, but I do not have the texture of her hair. I want it so bad. I want those cute little curly bangs. Oh, I want them so bad. Okay. And then I started watching Love Island today, which I have never watched before in my life, but I do like shows like Love is Blind, as well as The Perfect Match. And so I've decided to just give into the hype, and what a wild show. I have only watched the first hour of the first episode, which I think is an hour and 45 minutes. They really just jump in right away, don't they? I'm assuming there's going to be new personalities that rotate in, because I've heard the phrase, you know, a hot new bombshell has entered the villa. Yeah, they really do all the things to test out compatibility and chemistry just right off the get-go. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's something that I can just sit down and watch 2 hours of at a time. Like, I'm gonna chunk it out. I just can't do that. Okay, last little update for this clip. The team Pandorica, my team that I'm co-hosting, was able to vote for 2 detours. And we ended up with a detour that is leading us on a book scavenger hunt. So I thought that would be fun to show you the results of on camera. So I need my laptop so I can read you the different prompts I've got to look for. Let me go get it. Okay, first thing is to start with the book I am currently reading. Then we're going to turn to the acknowledgements and find the first person that the author thanked. In this case, it's authors. There's 2 people that wrote this book. Okay, Haley. Haley Steed is the first person. Sorry, I thought I heard people talking outside my door. Okay, Haley Steed is the first person that was thanked in the acknowledgements. So I need to find a book on my shelf by an author that shares that name. I have an ARC. That's not my Kindle. Haley. Let me go see. If I can't find one with Haley, we will go to the second name, which is Sarah. So I either need to find a Haley or a Sarah. And I have bookshelves in both of my rooms, so I'll be back. Okay, I could not find Haley. but I found Sarah, and that book is These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. And now our next thing is to look at the spine of this book, find a book on my shelf whose spine is the opposite color. This spine is blue, so I need to find an orange color because blue and orange are across from each other on the color wheel. So let me go find an orange book. That one was easy. It was just staring at me. So I found The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I love this book. And count the number of letters in that book's title. Find a book with the same number of letters in the title. So The Dead Romantics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I need to find a book with 16 letters in the title. None of those will work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, nope, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That one took me a second, but I finally found one. It was a book I didn't love, but it works for this prompt. So Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber has 16 letters in the title. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now that we have done that, look at the publication year of that book. Find a book published within 2 years of that. I can do that. Pretty sure this is a 2025 release. Yep, okay, 2025. So 2023 through, well, it can't be published in the future. I'm really smart, guys. 2023 or 2024, which that's also gonna be easy. I have got a whole bunch of new releases right beside me. I never put my TBR up after filming my video, so they are all over there. We are gonna go with The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. Turn to the last page of that book, find the last word. Oh, that's scary. I hope I don't spoil myself. What letter does that start with? Okay, the last word of this book, without spoiling myself, is ends, like E-N-D-S. Find a book on my shelf that starts with an E. Empire? Do I have a book like that? Empire? Yes, I have Empire of the Vampire right here. I was having trouble. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to find a book that starts with E, and that's the end. So let me get my little stack. All right, bottoms up is how I found all my books. So we completed the scavenger hunt. I'm gonna go submit that. It does up our team average a little bit. So any little thing I can do helps since I am reading so slow for this first leg. Now, why did I need to get ready today? Why couldn't I just be a slob? Me and some of my girlfriends from school are about to go to trivia. We were going to go to music bingo tonight at this place that's like right next door to me, but tonight is the one night they're not doing music bingo. So we're gonna go to this oyster bar and grill that does trivia on Wednesdays. And it should be a great time, I think. Hopefully we all bring our compendium of knowledge, and I'm really competitive. It's why I've been doing all these readathons, and I like to win, and I like to be right. I'm an annoying person like that. So fingers crossed I win, me and my team win, and also that we just have fun. So obviously I will not be reading for the next couple of hours, but you take what you can get, right? Shelly. This is gonna be my last update of the night, but I had to get on here to let you guys know my team won trivia, and there is nothing that makes me feel more validated as a human being than number one, knowing I'm right, and number two, knowing I'm smart. So I missed a hockey question, and I missed a basketball question, so I missed sports ball questions. But my big brain and my team's big brain, we were the Sherlock homies, by the way. We did good. We did good. We are in the home stretch of line memorization. I've got my flashcards for Act 2, Part 2 pulled up. And then after that, there is an Act 2, Part 3, but it's only like 5 lines. Act 2, Part 2 is the hardest part of the show. The lines aren't hard to learn, but the emotional beats behind them are difficult. So I have sprints in about 45 minutes. I'm hoping I can get through most of these before sprints, but if not, I'll just carry it into what I'm working on sprints. I have a feeling we're about to get a new leg drop at any point, and I am not done with my book, but we're just doing the best we can over here. I have my little encourager right here. Doesn't she just look like she wants me to read? She looks like she just wants me to hold her like a baby. So Current updates, memorization. Good morning, guys. So in the vlog timeline, we skipped Friday. And here's why we skipped Friday. I woke up with a headache yesterday. It was one of those headaches that's like in your neck and it's spreading both up in your head and down in your shoulder. I don't know why it existed, but I was miserable. So I stayed in bed till 3 and was like, well, I really can't look at anything or do anything. So I put my audiobook for Bloodbound on. I was like, I am not even gonna get up until I finish this book. So I did finish it yesterday. Before I talk about it, I just want you guys to know I did give it 4 stars. I think the end of the beginning and the middle lulled a little bit. I was just like, okay, like our girly pops are kind of friends, but they know they have to kill each other, and we're going back and forth on that. Something big did happen in the middle that piqued my interest. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm invested now. Both girls have a little bit of a love interest, and one did not go the way I was expecting it to go. So that was also very interesting. However, we get to the end of this book, and it's like, what am I reading? Let me take a sip of my coffee I just made. That is very good. Okay, because first we got a twist, and I had a prediction about something around chapter 40. And I was like, I know how this book is gonna play out. And then it did not play out that way at all. And I was like, man, like it was set up to play out that way for me. But then it did not, clearly. Something else wild happened in the same vein of my prediction, but I could not have predicted it. And then like 20 pages later, we got another what the heck am I reading moment. And that's how the book ended. And I can't say anything about it because it would all be so spoiler filled. So 4 stars, submitted this for leg 1 yesterday. Now we're already in leg 2. Like, I finished this book late. So now that we are in leg 2, I needed to pick up a book I got from the library. And you're gonna be like, Heather, you didn't get that from the library. You already own that book. I checked out the audiobook from the library, so I am supporting libraries. Correction, it's a book you don't own, not a book from the library. Anyway, I got the audio from the library, and this worked out at the perfect time because I actually have book club tonight. This is one of my in-person book clubs, and we pick a book that is based on theme. We don't all read the same book. Sometimes we end up reading the same book on accident, but we pick a book based on theme. So my book is A Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I do have the book open, but I think somewhere along the way I abandoned reading physically and just decided to listen instead of doing an immersive read. The theme of book club is to win a 21st century book that has won an award. So clearly this won the book of the month, Lolly, for 2025, and I truly had no idea what I was expecting with this book, but I am having a very good time. I am currently 70% of the way through it already, if that tells you anything. I started this at about 8 p.m. last night. So this book is following a family that lives on an island called Shearwater, and Shearwater is very isolated. It is off the coast of Antarctica. They are kind of like the caretakers of the island and the home family for when research bases come to this island, because they store the largest collection of seeds anywhere in the world. There's this storage and like extinct seeds, seeds that are very rare, typical gardening seeds. If there's a plant, they have a seed for it. And so there's a dad named Dom. He has 2 teenage children, and their names, one is Raph. The girl's name starts with an F. And because I've been audioing, I could not tell you what it is. It starts with an F. It's not like Fern or anything. And then there is a young boy named Orly. And they're just living their lives on this island. You get to know them pretty well. Orly is a very, very, very smart kid. He loves plants and science and animals, and is just one of those kids that's like, you talk to him and he starts naming facts about the things that he loves. The girl is very in love with nature, doesn't even like to sleep inside. She just likes to spend her days on the coast with the seals and watching the whales. And then the older boy, Raph, is a very, very tortured soul. And as we read the book, we find out why he is so tortured. And man, oh man, is it heartbreaking. But this family is here living in seclusion. Aside from Raph, I guess they're pretty happy. They're just doing their thing. They know that this is not a forever position, but they love the island. One day, this woman, Rowan, washes ashore. And they're like, nobody's supposed to be here right now. She washes ashore, and they slowly start learning things about her. And she has a reason she has come to this island, and she is not going to leave until she has answers. And so obviously there's a little bit of a mystery to uncover, but it's also just about the interpersonal relationships between the family and the outsider Rowan. The atmosphere is very good. I definitely feel like I'm on this secluded island living in a lighthouse. And the mystery isn't like a thriller mystery, but it is compelling enough for me to keep turning the pages and figure out what has led these people to interfere in each other's lives. And I say interfere because it really does feel like an interference. But we're also learning about a research team that came to the island, and overall it's just like a really sad book. But I like sad things. So that's that. In other news, Taylor Swift's new Toy Story song came out yesterday. Loving it. I'm loving it. It feels like such a summer song. The first time I listened to it, though, I didn't love it. Like, the harmonicas were almost overwhelming, but now that I've listened to it a few times, I do like it. And then I also watched one episode of Off Campus before my headache said you cannot stare at a TV, and I'm still liking it. So here's why I think I'm liking the show way more than the books. In the books, we get inner monologue, and inner monologue makes our characters feel younger than they are. And that's just my opinion. I know not everybody's going to agree with me, but in the show, because we're not getting the inner monologue, we're just getting the interpersonal interactions of the characters, I like it a lot more. Y'all, Allie's hair, I'm just like fixated on it. I also need to catch up on Love Island today. There's so much, but today is a relatively busy day. They are doing a set building day today. I was having a conversation with my friend about it last night. I am not required to be there. The actors are not required to be there. Like, it is a board thing for the theater. But I went last time they had a set building day because I like the community and I like the bonding, and I like to help build things for something I'm involved in. But I used to be on the board of a theater. I was president of said board of said theater, and it would frequently be that I was the only one that would come to things, no matter how much I was like, hey guys, like, you all signed up to be on a board. This is not going to happen if we don't all come together and work. And frequently it would be like me and one other person. So I have this, trauma is a big word for it, but I have this like mental nagging that if I don't go, it's not gonna get done. In addition to this, they also made me like the PR person to make the TikToks and the videos to start like publicizing this play. So I have taken on a relatively big responsibility. And so I was talking to my friend about how I felt guilty that I wasn't going this morning. And he said something really wise to me that made me feel so much better. And he said, no, you're setting boundaries. I needed to hear that so bad. So I do have rehearsal at 2:30, which obviously I'm gonna go. And then tonight I have that book club, and it's really cool. There's this place, it's like a block down from where I used to live, and none of this existed when I lived over there. But in Jackson, there's this place that has this big like turf lawn and all these little like dining places that you can just like go up to the window and order, and then you can sit on the lawn. So our plan tonight is to have book club, and there's a wings place and there's an ice creams place. So I'm gonna get some wings and some ice cream, and we're all gonna talk about our award-winning books. I'm gonna sit here and keep listening, and I actually fell a little bit behind on my crochet granny square blanket during the month of May. So I think I'm gonna go gather all the yarn that I could possibly need for the books I need, and we're gonna sit here and do a little time-lapse crochet while I listen to some more Wild Dark Shore. This one is for Bloodbound. This one was for a little novella that I did not enjoy called S'more of You. And this one is for Our Perfect Storm. I did not pull the colors I needed for the caretaker, so I still have one more to make, but progress. There is the current state of the blanket. I'm here to report that I did finish, what's that book called? Wild Dark Shore, in time for book club tonight, which I'm about to leave for. Do I have anything on my teeth? Okay, 4 stars. I'll talk more about it later, but 4. A few updates. First of all, finished both books for the main legs of the Amazing Readathon, which I would love to read a little bit more and be able to sightsee, but at this point in my life with the play and everything, reading 2 books in a week is really good for me. So we read Bloodbound, which I ended up giving 4 stars, and then of course Wild Dark Short, which I ended up giving a 4.5. This book was so good. It literary fiction, family relationships, interpersonal relationships between strangers. You had a little bit of romance and a little bit of thriller thrown in there as well. It was somehow slow-paced and fast-paced at the same time. I don't know how to explain that. If you've read it, you probably know what I mean. And the thing with this book is I either see people DNFing it or people giving it 4 stars and above. So there's not many people who are mid on this book, but I really enjoyed it. I love that we got POVs from every single member of the family. So there's a little boy, Orly, there's Finn, the teenage girl, there's Raph, the teenage boy, there's Dom, their father, and then there's Rowan, the mysterious woman who washes on shore, and she is just trying to find something out and the secrets, and it was just a really good time. It's weird saying I enjoyed this book because I think overall it is quite a heartbreaking book, but I think there is joy to be found in heartbreak sometimes, and this book was that for me. Now, obviously, you guys have never seen these shelves before, and that's because I put them up yesterday. I have a cat desperately trying to headbutt my tripod, which only happens when I film. This thing could be sitting here all day and he would not care about it. And give him some scritches so that he knows he's loved. Also, guys, I swear I thought I wiped this mirror down earlier today and it still looks dirty. But what is it about mirrors that just like refuse to be cleaned? I don't know. But these shelves are from a neighbor and friend who lived across the like road in the apartment complex from me. She and her partner recently bought a house, so she's trying to get rid of a bunch of furniture and was gonna sell these for 15 bucks on Facebook. I was like, I will take them, and she was like, you can have them for free. So I brought them up here yesterday. It is not in its final evolution yet, but these are my unread TBR books. So they're all in a very, very accessible place. I can see all of them at first glance. I've got some random knickknacks to fill space. These are all paperbacks that are the same height, book of the month books, aardvark books, and then just a random assortment down there. But I like being able to see them. My TV is actually on top of them up there. And then I have one more update for you guys before I leave you. So as of Friday, Team Pandorica, my team, the best team, we had submitted 1,200 books. So what does that mean for us? I don't know. But do with that information whatever you would like. And I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye, guys.